Hey guys, Ronin and Reaper here. So I just got done watching Badland Hunters on Netflix. This is of course a brand new movie to come from Korea. And look, when you're watching a film that has been made in Korea, you're always in for something reliably entertaining. You're always in for a reliably good time. The film industry over there is very, very strong. But really, what attracted my curiosity to the project was the involvement of Ma Dong-seok, aka Don Lee, who you'll recognize from Train to Busan, and also from the Hollywood scene in Marvel's The Eternals. He's a very good actor, so, with his involvement, I was expecting good things from this, expecting a fun, entertaining post-apocalyptic action movie. But is this a reliably entertaining piece of genre fare from Korea? Let's find out. So, in the film, Seoul has been reduced to a lawless badland following the impact of a devastating earthquake. 3 years later, in the middle of an intense drought, we meet Nam-san, a hunter who works with his trusted companion, Ji-wan. One day, a teenage girl named Suna, who is very close to the pair, is chosen to go to the apartment, a safe haven for survivors. However, it turns out this safe haven is not all it's cracked up to be, because it turns out it's populated by a cult brainwashed to worship mad scientist Yang Gi-soo. So Nam-san and Ji-wan, along with a woman they meet named Lee Yun-ho, head to the apartment to rescue Suna. So yeah, look, obviously I was expecting just a fun, entertaining, violent action movie, which hopefully I'd get with the involvement of Ma Dong-seok, and it's also kind of happy to see this land on Netflix, one of the biggest streaming services. 'Cause, it means that people will kind of discover it and get more widespread traction, much like what Squid Game did a few years ago. It's great seeing Korean content and just foreign language content in general wind up on an easily accessible streaming service. And honestly, watch this, you should, because this is a very entertaining movie. It's certainly not one of the finest pieces of filmmaking to come from Korea or anything like that, but it's very much a film that does what it says on the tin and delivers on that. I mean, for one, we have this very interesting world. Like, the world building here is really cool, We've obviously got this, crumbled, abandoned world, like crumbled buildings and dusty landscapes. We also got like a bustling market in the bus district, and also, the safe haven of the apartment. It's a very well built up world, and it's very interesting to see the film explore it. Obviously, it doesn't quite explore all of its ideas as fully as it would like to. Like, there's a little subplot involving a little criminal underworld who like run deliveries for the apartment and also serve as a police force. That is a cool idea and would actually make for a really interesting film on its own, but here it just sort of serves as something merely to progress the plot. Again, it's an interesting idea and it is presented interestingly enough in the film. I just would have liked a bit more exploration for it, because it's sort of lean hour 47-minute runtime. Does work for the material, but it means that it never quite fully explores its cool ideas. But really what we're here for is the action scenes, and boy do these deliver. They are super entertaining to watch. They are impressively choreographed, very punchy, very fast paced, and suitably visceral with plenty of injury detail. And it helps as well that the camera is suitably fluid and dynamic, perfectly matching the energy of the fight scenes, and even has some neat little uses of a handheld cam to match the frantic energy. Yeah, the action scenes here are really well done. And, you know, obviously, where would this be without, a compelling enough cast of characters? Obviously, our central characters are all very likable. Like, you've got Nam-san, and he is played very well by Ma Dong-seok. He has, ample physicality, as you would expect, but also has this, sort of impressively, like, nonchalant demeanor, which just oozes badass. But he also has this, like, inner vulnerability, as he feels a certain sense of guilt for, being unable to save his daughter, and also has blood on his hands that he has to atone for. He's a very interesting character, and he's joined by a very well-rounded supporting cast, including his companion Ji-won, Suna, and Yun-ho, and all these characters are very likable and they're very well performed. And we also have our villain of the piece, Doctor Ji-soo, who he's a very interesting villain. He's obviously the mad scientist type, but he also has this sort of hint of tragedy about him, as he believes that what he is doing is the right thing. Not too dissimilar from Thanos on that front. Obviously, with much different aims, but broadly similar ideology. He's a very interesting character, and he's a proper bastard who you want to see get his comeuppance. And obviously there are some very good messages in here, obviously that aren't quite explored to their fullest, like particularly about how this current generation are the hope for the future of society. It's a very interesting idea, and also a sort of does that with a sort of twisted inversion of natural selection, like natural selection in a way where all the weak are weeded out and killed. It's very interesting stuff, and it adds some depth and substance to a plot that, while compelling and entertaining, is undeniably kind of basic. Let's be real. Let's be real. You know exactly how this film is playing out, and obviously its characters are sort of very broad, familiar archetypes that, while well rounded, you've certainly seen these types of characters and this story done before. But it is, compellingly told and very entertaining through its likable characters, its world building, and its visceral action scenes. And it does have some cool visuals as well. Obviously, there's some impressively gnarly practical effects for these unkillable mutant soldiers who have reptile genes in them. Kind of as the result of experiments not too dissimilar from Dr. Kurt Connors. And yeah, the practical makeup here is really cool, and there's some pretty solid CGI as well, and the cinematography, particularly for these dirty, dusty landscapes, is very well done. Obviously, it's not always as fully compelling as it would like to be, because yes, it is consistently very entertaining, but there are stretches where certainly the story wasn't quite as interesting, and you're sort of just waiting for Ma Dong-seok to show up again and kick ass. But in saying that, it all builds wonderfully to a climax where, yes, he does exactly what you want to see: fight his way through the apartment and kick ass and brutally take out all the soldiers working there. It's super fun, and it does build to a satisfying ending that does its characters justice and does leave you with a smile on your face. And yeah, I enjoyed this movie overall. It's very entertaining. It's certainly flawed, but it is an entertaining watch overall, and yeah, certainly one that I would definitely recommend seeking out. And yeah, overall, Badland Hunters, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen Badland Hunters? What do you think of it? Did you like the world it explored? Would you like to see a follow up in the universe? Because obviously this is a sequel to a film called Concrete Utopia. Would you like to see the world built on more? And what's your favorite Ma Dong-seok performance? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.